looking in. We would love to see more. We would love to feel like we're in a large room, actually sharing some energy with you guys. And how amazing is this? I think we may have covered every corner of this country. We have Delhi, Bombay, Hyderabad, Jodhpur, Madras. Oh, I haven't heard that in a long time. Coimbatore, Bhopal, somewhere in central India, Rohit. Bangalore, Jalalabad, Pune, Ludhiana. Wow, that's just about every direction covered. So glad to have you all here, and we have still have people joining us as well. But we are going to start off because I can't wait. I'm so excited to welcome everybody from St. Benedict today with us and to really dive into a visit into this very unique, very cool school. Um, to get us started, I actually just wanted to share with you all a little bit about the school itself. But just before, a little bit about us. Um, we at the Circle believe that all children have aspirations and dreams. And we believe that regardless of where they're coming from, regardless of their identities of caste, religion, gender, and socioeconomic status, there is no predictive power to their success, and each of them deserves a life filled with opportunity and choice. And so, to that end, our mission is to reinvent schools, programs, and teacher institutions that empower students from low income communities so that they can build an India that's free of poverty and filled with love. What I want you to do is actually share a little bit about yourself with me. Tell me, I know you're already sharing where you're joining us from, but I'd love for you to go to the chat box and share with me what do you believe needs to be different in India's education system today? Think about why you're here. Why are you here to learn more about St. Benedict's and, in general, attending a circle space itself? What is your why? What do you believe needs to be different? Let's see you come to down to the chat box and share some of those ideas. It doesn't need to be long, it doesn't need to be complex. One line, more than enough. Two lines, great. Lovely. Rohit has started us off. He says, wants students to lead the way with voice, choice, and ownership. Beautiful. Devang says there needs to be access to opportunities. Sanjita says, I believe students should not be passive participants in their own learning. More opportunities for expression and agency. Neeta says everything actually, but starting from admission to assessment. Interesting. Dilshad says introducing real life skills, moving away from rote learning. Absolutely. And Shubham is about to share something with us from their micro school aspiration. So let's wait for that. But Mibin says students should be leaders. I'm seeing this interesting pattern here for all the people who are joining us today. A lot of focus on the potential, not just the potential, but what young people can do right now, today. Teaching needs to be made more aspirational. Absolutely. That's what Rahul says. Mahima says needs to be practical, child centric. Pooja says allowing students to lead the way. Prakash says just opportunities and exposure. Raji ma'am, hello. Raji ma'am says education creating change makers. Yeah. Student voice again. Lovely. Ownership and accountability as well. Amazing. Thank you for sharing. I hope that you keep putting that out. We'll come back to it. Lovely, Prakhar. I have to address this, but they all know their hunar. Hunar, for those who may not understand, is your innate skill slash talent slash what interests and excites you. Perhaps a very interesting Urdu comparative to the word ikigai. Beautiful, lovely. So now that we have everything that brings you here, let's bring in St. Benedict's Prep School in Newark. Now, St. Benedict School isn't your regular school. It is absolutely a faith rooted school that is student led in the heart of Newark, New Jersey. At St. Benedict's, community is a daily practice, not just an idea. They're guided by the belief that whatever hurts my brother or my sister hurts me. And the school builds a culture of trust, of care, and of courage in every classroom, in every huddle, and in every hallway. This is very interesting because this is connected so clearly to a lot of what you all were talking about community, about practice, about leadership, about values. A distinctive feature of St. Benedict's is that students are required to run much of the school. Isn't that amazing? That's what really excited me when I was hearing about it from Sandeep. This empowerment shapes students who are disciplined and hold high standards for themselves and for others. It's also known as the hive. It's a place where resilience is forged, traditions and prayer run deep, and students are challenged to grow, fall, and rise again. More than a school, St. Benedict's functions as a family, and it has made a lasting difference in the lives of generations of students. With that, welcome, team St. Benedict's Prep. So excited to have you. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing who here is here with us. I would love for everybody here to go to the reactions point and actually share some reactions with us on the screen. I'll tell you what I mean. If I go to the reactions point and I can send with effect, I can send, say, a clap here, or I can send a bigger effect. Yeah, I would love for everybody to go down there as I tell you who all is here and we welcome them. First, we have Glenn Cassidy, who is the director of the Father Mark Payne Institute at St. Benedict's Prep. He'll be starting us off today. The Father Mark Payne Institute is a resource center where much of the school's visionary practices are conceptualized. It's also such an interesting way of designing a school. We also have Jibril with us, who is in the 12th grade and senior leader as well as co president of the Father Mark Payne Institute. Welcome, Jibril. So nice to have you. We have Danilo from the 11th grade, who's assistant group leader, Grey Bee Ministry, and co president of the Father Mark Payne Institute Fellow. Welcome, Danilo. So great to have you. We also have Jerome from the 11th grade again, who's a Father Mark Institute Fellow, and Diomar, please correct me if I am not pronouncing it correctly, but Diomar, who's transfer counselor, Father Mark Payne Institute Fellow. So glad to have you guys here. Amazing. Did I say that name correctly? Please correct me right now.
Diomar.
Diomar. Almost, sorry. Diomar. Again, we can welcome Diomar again. Hi. All right. So the really cool thing today is going to be the fact that most of our visit is going to be led by the students of St. Benedict's. But before we dive into that, I actually want us to anchor the next hour or so in where we believe that transformative change is being made across this school. And that we're going to do actually by leaning into a framework that we often use. Here, we're going to actually look at the four core pillars of a school, which is community, student leadership, counseling, and experiential education. This is what you'll see a lot of over the visit. But let's actually dive into where we feel leaps are being taken towards extraordinary learning for all. So, as many of you might know, very strong partners for us, Transcend Education is an organization which operates out of the US, and their focus is in redesigning the idea of school, in completely switching up and changing the grammar of what school design is, and doing that so that young people can take leaps from status quo industrial era learning into extraordinary learning for all, regardless of where they come from. And therefore you can see the connection that both these organizations share. A quick overview is Transcend considers there are 6 ways to actually leap from industrial era status quo learning into extraordinary learning. From narrow focus to whole child focus, from isolation to connection and community, from low expectations to high expectations with rigorous learning, from irrelevance to relevance, from a standardized one size fits all approach to customization, and from passive compliance to agency. What you'll notice here again is that the leaps help us kind of see how is the school designed to move from status quo learning into extraordinary learning. Here I'll quote again something I've said before, which is zero predictive power, which means that where a child comes from, this should not determine what access and opportunities a child gets. Hopefully, we get to witness today the leaps that we see most strongly come out of St. Benedict's, which is a whole child focus, which is emotional well-being being valued, connection and community through some of the practices that the school follows, as well as high expectations with rigorous learning. This is something that I have a first-hand account of from people who visited the school as well, and hopefully we see it here. Um, we really thank Jeff as well as Transcend for actually connecting us to St. Benedict's and the work that they've done together. I can't wait to get us started. And so, with this, our time together, I'm going to hand it over to Glenn, Jibril, Theomar, Daniel, who I'm missing, Danilo, and Jerome to take us through the visit. You'll be introducing us to St. Benedict's and then you'll be taking us on a tour. Please.
So cool.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It is 8:43 here in New Jersey, so it's morning for us, but we're here, we're ready, you know. But the Father Mark Payne Institute, we are the Father Mark Payne Institute. The Father Mark Payne Institute, we share our mission, our motto, our goal. We are here to share it with the world, share it with our community. So it's definitely an honor to be able to speak with people from all over. So yeah. So my name is Jerome.
Speak up.
Yeah, my name is Jerome.
I'm Danilo. I'm Theomar.
And we are all UD2s here at St. Benedict's. We are juniors, 11th grade. So yeah, thank you for being here. We're so glad to have you, and it's an honor to share our mission with the world.
Good evening, everybody. Glenn Cassidy. Let me first check on sound. Are we okay on sound?
Yes, we can hear you. There's some resonance. That's because you're in one room, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay, good. So yes, Glenn Cassidy, and I am the director of the Father Mark Payne Institute here at St. Benedict's. I've been here a number of years, and I will apologize for Jabril. He got caught in some traffic this morning, so he's on his own device, but he's on his way in and will be joining us very, very shortly. But we thank you for having us. Thank you for working with us today, and I also want to echo is it Arshia? Am I saying that right? Yes, Arshia's comments about Transcend and the work that we've done with them and how helpful they've been to us over the years. So we hope that our time with you this morning can maybe trigger some thoughts and inspiration and hopefully answer some questions of yours as well. I don't want to delay, so I'm going to have us jump right in, excuse me, to our presentation this morning. And oops, of course, I just did one thing wrong here. And so let me share this. Okay. So just a little bit of information about St. Benedict's first is that St. Benedict's is a rather diverse school. We are located right in the city of Newark, New Jersey, right in the center of Newark, New Jersey. And if you are at all familiar or look into it a little bit, you will know that Newark has a very rich and troubled history at the same time. And so St. Benedict's has had a relationship with that history since 1868. So we have withstood the good times and the bad times here, and we are still going strong. Currently, we have a rather unique approach to things where we are very diverse, as you can see in our student demographics. We have a setup where we are kindergarten through 12th grade. Our kindergarten through 8th grade is co-ed, and our 9th grade through 12th grade is co-institutional, meaning boys and girls take classes separately. The reason for this divide is that traditionally St. Benedict's was an all-boys school, and about 5 years ago, because of a demand from local girls, we started a girls division. But when those girls came to us, even they said they still like the idea of a single sex education. So for the high school grades, grades 9 through 12, we maintained this single sex idea. We are on the same property, and there are some times, and there are plenty of times when the students are together. But for class purposes, for leadership purposes, they are separate. More than 50% of our students do come from low-income households. 85% of our students in the older grades receive financial aid on our tuition. More than 40% of our students participate in the counseling program every year, which you'll hear a little bit more about in a couple minutes. And all of our students deal with the societal challenges of our areas. But on the success side, we also have 98% of our students each year go on to colleges, and 80% of them either have graduated in 4 to 6 years or persist in college in 4 to 6 years. So therefore, we know what we're doing is working, and that is well above the US average for persistence in college in 4 to 6 years. So this is just to give you some background, and I will now turn it over to the students so that you can stop listening to me and hear from the important people. So we're going to take you through the 4 pillars of the school. I should mention Father Mark Payne. We referenced him. We've named this institute after him because he was the one who kind of the architect of most of what we do now. This is him here. And so with that, here is Diamar to take us through the first of the 4 pillars.
So good morning, everyone. The first pillar is community development. Benedict's focuses a lot on community, which is strongly the building block of Benedict's. We also have different parts that build this. For example, daily convocation. Every morning, students gather up so they can chant songs and do the morning prayer, of course. And we also run through attendance, which is mainly the thing that we do the best, of course. We run to attendance so we know where everyone is at, and we voice it out. So if anyone knows where anyone is at, they can tell the other people, and we know where everyone is at. Of course, sorry. For me, I enjoy convocation a lot because I get to bind with people, and I get to like pretty much move their mood throughout the day, and it's a thing that I enjoy since I was a freshman, and I really enjoy making people feel better, and just like I do it every day, so I really like it a lot. So that's the thing. And for group, we have this thing at the end of the day, which is a group period where students waste time together, and we also have this period where we can help each other out with our academics. For example, if you don't understand a subject, we can help each other out. You can ask a grown person in your group or one of your friends so they can explain it better or something like that. We also do group games, which is it's like games which it's a fun thing to do. I just can say a little bit of that. So we also have student access to adults, which is kind of not just seeing adults as adults, but as friends. We can bind together and we can actually talk to them like if they were our friend, if they were just anyone else, and we can access to them at any time of the day. And Benedict's also runs on honor code, which is I will not lie, I will not steal, I will not cheat, and I will report anyone who does, which is basically the law that we run through. And this is enforced in every grade in Benedict's middle division, which is 6th grade through 12th grade. Benedict's has also a vast alumni network, which is we have people that graduate from Benedict's come here and support Benedict's and even donate to Benedict's because of the things we do and because they came to the school and they really come back. We have alumni every week, so they really like the school and they really help us out.
So for student leadership, all students practice the leadership skills in a supportive environment. And Father Mark Payne once said, "Don't do for students what students can do for themselves," which is referenced almost every day by the headmaster, Father Edwin, and Dr. Cassidy.
Hold on one second. Let's go back to Bala's question here about wasting time. Somebody want to say more about wasting time together?
So wasting time together is like spending time together. We get to bind with each other and we get to build more community. As for example, we get to play board games, we get to play chess, we get to talk to each other, we get to know each other on a personal level, not just academic based, oh, you're smart. No, it's more of a family based. We get to actually bind at the end of the day.
One of the insights of Father Mark Payne was that probably the most important thing we could do is be together. And so just having a period to spend time together, so there's a 35-minute block just for people to spend time together. And that's the whole point of it.
So the group system. In the school, there are 18 groups, and after a certain time in your first year here, so your freshman year, you're drafted into your group, which essentially is your family for the next 4 years that you stay at the school. And like Diomar said, the wasting time together is one of the big things. For leadership opportunities, there are senior leaders, which is for girls is 5, for the boys is pretty sure 8, and they're pretty much in charge of running the school. So Jabril here is a section leader, and he's in charge of 5 groups in the school. So he has a big part in it. Group leaders, they are responsible for the 20-ish people that are drafted into his group, and they're essentially responsible for making sure their grades are good and they're going to school every day. The chief of staff is essentially the bridge between divisions. Everything goes through him, communication wise. Freshman counselors are one of the most important jobs in the school, as they're teaching the incoming freshmen the values and the lessons they can get from St. Benedict's. For leadership classes, you get to know, learn more about it the next 5 minutes or so. For backpacking and overnight training. But during summer phase, group leaders and senior leaders, they have a leadership class to further develop their leadership skills, which plays a big help in the school year. For the delegating responsibilities to students, as Diomar said, student attendance, the group leaders are in charge of taking attendance for the group, making sure everyone is there, and if they're not, they call them out. And for the academic schedule, the group leaders have to make sure, or anyone that's willing to take responsibility, make sure everybody in the group has good grades and they're not failing any classes, and if they are failing any classes, they're there to support them. And one of the better things about St. Benedict's is that we interview the teacher candidates. So anyone is applying to work here, the first it goes through the teacher, but then as like a last challenge, I guess, is the students making sure that teachers actually care for the school and they're willing to engage with the students instead of just teaching.
One of my favorite stories here is simply that several years ago, we had a candidate that was very appealing to all of the adults. Lesson plans, excellent, pedigree, excellent, everything else. But when the candidates get here, the first people they meet are students, and the students walk them around. And when we sat with the students afterwards and said, "What did you think?" they said, "Absolutely not." And we said, "Why not?" And they said, "He paid no attention to us. When we were taking him on his tour, he was on his phone. He was not interested in anything we were saying." So while the candidate came across very well in all his interviews with the adults, did not impress the students at all, and so we didn't hire him.
So social emotional health. Our school is dedicated to the students all over. So we believe if you can't attend to the heart, then you can't attend to like their mind. So before you can get into your academics, you have to get to their heart. Social emotional screening.
So we use a adolescent problem checklist with all of our students that come in grades 7 and above. And so they fill this out as they arrive just to identify if there's any issues that we should be aware of. And if so, if it triggers any yellow or red flags, then we refer them to the counseling department specifically to have an interview and decide if there's anything that needs further follow-up.
And we also just started a system with that and involving the 7th and 8th graders. Faculty becoming counselors. So outside of being a teacher, a lot of the faculty keep in contact with the students outside of school. Like with me and Dr. Cassidy, I call him probably 8 times out the week minimum. And it's not school related because we just have that type of relationship for as a faculty member to check on like the students. Faculty/student referrals. So a lot of the times we have a counseling department where students go to counseling, whether it's individual or group counseling. But a lot of this is student referrals. This meaning that the students bring other students to the counseling center whenever they feel like it's something going on with their friend, whether it's at home or at school. Students help out with like that emotional part the most because they can relate to other students and they bring them to the counseling center. Is faculty trained to become counselors? No. We do have like counselors here and also as well as like interns that are in training, but no, faculty are not trained to be counselors. That's another question. Services. So there's group counseling for the boys. It's a counseling group called Unknown Sons where we talk about what it feels like not to have like our dad around for whatever reason. And also the guy you see in the photo is Dr. Lamort. He helps a lot with that. Individual counseling is those one-on-one sessions with people. So me and another counselor, whether they work here or they're an intern, they like talk to us for like an hour. And family counseling is literally like what it sounds like. That's where you bring like your family, whether it's a group of 3, 4, or 5. That's when you're getting that counseling session, but like with your family.
Hold on.
All right, as we're waiting for the videos, I'd love to kind of see thoughts. It's really cool to see a lot of y'all are already putting down in the moment thoughts. Even if you have questions that we can come back to later, you can keep putting them down and we'll address them as well.
It's not playing.
All right. Glenn, would you like to share using sound?
Yes.
So for that, we can go to.
I see it. Here it is.
So can't hear it.
We're still not getting sound. Glenn, if you will just stop sharing and reshare. Once you go on reshare, you'll see the sharing sound option on the right hand side. Yeah, now it's good.
So Chris just typically will do is fill themselves with noise, either with iPods or internet or movies or music, whatever it is, and we just get them to just focus on themselves. So Chris is going to come into that program. We're going to be able to monitor his studies. He'll get group therapy twice a week.
It helped me a lot to realize how my life, like how that has helped my life, especially my mom. Because during, like when my parents separated, I know my mom was devastated, you know.
And he'll get individual therapy once a week for him to be able to start to talk about his feelings and talk about what's going on.
17 years old. Come from Newark, New Jersey. I think my major problem is that I don't have no father figure in my life, and it really hurts, like, cause I never even seen him before.
So the fact that we can do direct therapy and counseling here, and the kid doesn't have to leave the property, and I can build it around the schedule. This isn't rocket science. It isn't. This is talking to another human being and saying, "What's going on with you? What happened?" We've talked about it a lot. You're only as sick as your secrets. As you're able to kind of let go of those secrets, and they don't have any more power over you. They're not the scary boogeyman in the closet, and you can start to confront those things. Now you can start education. Now you can start the process of, teaching how to do a term paper, teaching how to read a textbook. Before that, you're really wasting your time.
A short overview of kind of what this is.
So when we refer to supplemental assessments, what we are referring to is the ability to start testing for those students that may have any kind of learning issues. We do not do formal individual education plans, IEPs, or other plans for students that may have learning disabilities. But we can start to do some testing and then refer them to the district if they need something more significant from there.
So the counseling intern program is exactly like what it sounds. A lot of the times, like our counselors at the school are interns from like a different school, just trying to work and to get either their bachelor's or working towards their master's, even whatever the case may be. They help with the group sessions as well as scheduling individual counseling as well. And we provide that opportunity for them, like people from St. John's and other universities and colleges.
All right, experiential learning. So a quote we have here is, "The only easy day was yesterday." So this quote was given to us by the U.S. Navy SEALs, and basically it means that yesterday was the only easy day because you got it done. You did everything you had to do, and you're moving on to the next thing. Culture of earning. The biggest way that we have a culture of earning here is through the freshmen. When the freshmen come to St. Benedict's, they start off with a gray uniform. The gray uniform symbolizes that basically you're new to the school. You don't know everything. You have to learn the traditions, and you have to learn what St. Benedict's is about. And when you do accomplish that, you earn the black uniform, as all the students here have on right now, because we did what we had to do to earn the black uniform. We can move on to the 3 A's. So our 3 A's: academics, activities, and attitude. 3 A's is very important because it is what makes a St. Benedict's man or a St. Benedict's woman. Our academics is very important because we strive to have all of our students above a 2.0 GPA and our activities is important because we want all of our freshmen to participate in at least 2 activities. And our attitude and attendance is basically having all of our kids here ready to learn and here on time. Our attendance is very important because if you're not here, you can't do anything. Like it does. Doing things here, it starts with being here. If you're not here, you can't do anything. You can't contribute if you're not here.
Say a little bit more about activities, because schools in India don't necessarily run the same way with regards to activities and all. So what do we mean by activities here?
So activities can be a sport, it can be a club. It's what you do to contribute to the school, what your talents are. Here you find your talent and you contribute to the school through an activity or a club. Say if you come here to play basketball, if you're a good basketball player, you contribute to the school through your basketball talents. Or you're a great artist, we have an art club. If you're a great artist and you come here and you want to contribute to our art club, we have many great pieces that the art club has made here, and that art club is very important to us. Rites of passage and traditions. The freshman overnight. So our freshman overnight is when freshmen, they come in their first week, they stay at the school for a week, they sleep here, they learn our traditions and everything, and it's led by our senior leaders and our freshman counselors. The trail is a outdoor experience. So a bunch of inner city kids, they go out and they walk the trail. They walk the Appalachian Trail, the New Jersey part of the Appalachian Trail, and they're broken into 8 groups, and they stick together, they walk together, they eat together, and they sleep in tents together. And we'll show a little video on that right now.
As a city kid, I'll tell you, I would rather walk down Peshine Avenue here in Newark at night with $100 bills out of my pocket than to walk in the woods. It was the most frightening thing in the world.
We have kids that navigate dangerous blocks in the city, but when you take them out on the trail and it's dark and it's silent, which are things that people who live in the city never experience, really. And kids will tell you, you gotta get me out of here. This scares the heck out of me.
Last night was rough. Thunderstorms, rain, and sleeping bag is so wet and cold.
It's the foundation stone of what we do. And I'm telling you, you get kids that were absolutely unsuccessful in the traditional classroom. They hike the trail, cross that bridge. I can do anything. I can do anything.
All right. And we also have our WAC, our Water Adversity Challenge. So the Water Adversity Challenge the goal is to make sure that all of our students, it's based in our sophomores, so the kids that are in the 10th grade, so they come in and they do the Water Adversity Challenge, so they not only learn to survive in the water, but to thrive in the water. Given that a lot of kids in urban areas do not have access to a lot of the pools and different bodies of water that suburban kids may have access to. So that's very important to us as well. The Wild is a wilderness-inspired leadership development. Our juniors, our UD2s, go in the woods in our summer phase, which is in August. They go out in the woods for 30 hours. They do leadership development challenges. They work together, and they learn how to overcome adversity within teams. And we have another video on that as well.
I want it to become part of what we do, just like the overnight in the backpack is, that people will talk about the overnight, the backpack, the water challenge, the WAC, and the Wild.
The Wilderness-Inspired Leadership Expedition is a 30-hour course where students have to successfully navigate to certain points in the woods as a team.
The 36 hours we were out there, all my senses were heightened.
At the end of the Wild expedition, I was very proud of myself and I was proud of my team.
I felt really relieved when it was over.
To navigate in the woods, to navigate in lessening light when it gets darker to a little tiny speck in the middle of the woods. To find it is not easy.
Navy SEALs trained us in problems we would have in water.
The advanced group, I watched in the end get with all their clothes on and a backpack and goggles that were blacked out so they couldn't see where they were, get pushed off a 7-foot tower into the water, be able to take their shoes off, tie them in a knot and hang them around their neck, and take their pants off, tie the ankles in a knot and put it over their head, and they'll then be attacked by the Navy SEAL and pulled to the bottom of the pool several times before they were ever allowed to surface.
It was hard.
Some kids were afraid to even get in the water.
When we started, we were totally new to it, but when we finished, we were like, wow, this works.
That's what the whole thing is about. So these kids are out there able to compete with anybody, so they don't think, well, I can't get a job there. Yeah, you can.
Every time the school pushes me to do something that I could never think of, I come back stronger, and I never knew that was there. It's like it was unlocked.
We will now move on to our spring phase. So we have different spring phase projects. So the biggest part about our spring phase is that it is a time for students to learn experiences and real life things that they will learn in the real world and will have to use in the real world. I saw a lot of the educators here, they put in the chat that they wanted students to learn about things that happen in the real world and in their real environments instead of things that only happen in the classroom. You know, this gives students a platform to not only experience different things, but figure out what they may want to do in the future. Our spring phase, this is the time that we do our trail. During spring phase, we have the freshmen or transfers. They come in and they learn about the trail, how to survive in the woods, and then they go out and then they do it and then they make it happen. Stage rage. Stage rage is, do you really want to talk about this?
Yeah, so stage rage is where students get to perform their traumas that they're comfortable with on stage to the students, like at the end of the year. This also goes into the counseling department because that's who it's run by. And the person who helps with that is another person named Ms. Flynn, who's in charge of theater and acting. So this is a platform where students get to perform like what their struggles were growing up on stage and help other students like come to counseling in a sense.
And our community service. So our seniors, they go out and they help organizations and people who may need help in our community. So for example, our seniors or juniors, they go out and they help the East Orange Fire Department. So this is also part of the experience. So they learn things about being a firefighter, and they may want to become a firefighter later on in life. This contributes to the experience. Leahy House. The Leahy House is an opportunity for kids who may live farther from the school or may not have a great home situation, so where they would want to stay at their home and come to St. Benedict's at the same time, where they could live here, and it would be a lot easier to commute to St. Benedict's and take advantage of all the opportunities that are given here. The Leahy House has a lot of space there. It's a beautiful area, and it has a garden, kitchen, everything that you would want in your own home. So the people that run the Leahy House, they make a lot of the kids that come from different areas feel very welcome and very at home. Opportunities. We have student exchanges. So basically the kids that come from different countries to come here, and they see St. Benedict's. They are students here. We have summer programs and NGIT and Rutgers classes. So different students who are advanced from the regular classes that we give at St. Benedict's, they go over to NJIT, and they go and they take college level classes to get them college credits or we have students that take higher level math classes than the math classes that we take here because they are more advanced than the classes that we offer. We have EMR. Dr. Cassidy here teaches EMR class to help students become better medics and learn how to save lives. EMR is very important, especially when we have kids that are medics going on the trail. There are a number of incidents that happen on the trail on numerous occasions, and we need EMR people and medics there to assist, and they do a great job.
So real quickly, we're going to show you one more video, and this is the video of another school that has an elementary school nearby us that has adopted some of our methods into their own school and started their own convocation. So just something here to see how it's being adopted by others.
After COVID, like, we need to make some changes, right? So what do we want to do to get the kids engaged?
COVID blew everything up. Think of ways that we can, why do we have to go back to something else? What do you think? And I had always sort of thought about St.Benedict in my mind as a model that works. And it wasn't until our principal, Ms. Verdunk, kind of challenged us to come up with new ideas that I sort of revisited this idea with St.Benedict. So I mentioned convocation. And so she said, let's do it.
Convocation is almost like how some people might get up and start their day with exercise. You release those endorphins, get your day going, and it just kind of sets the tone for the rest of the day.
If I'm like, it's a Monday and like I don't want to wake up, like convocation just like lifts my energy.
During like the community songs, everyone just sings at once and it's all like really fun and great. And Shout Out Wednesday, like some little kids get shouted out and they just smile and it's really great.
When students feel like their building belongs to them, they're going to run through walls for it, right? Academically, socially, they're becoming more emotionally healthy because they're given more to do, not less to do. So, being relevant, but being rigorous is really important.
I feel like being a leader is like difficult. So if I can do it, I feel like makes me more confident of myself that I can do things.
I feel very loved. People care about you.
I think for the students, just when I talk to them, get their feedback, is they feel that they're a part of the place now. They're part of the school. It is their school. They have some say.
When you give them something to do, you're going to mop this floor, you're going to broom, you're going to sweep up, you're going to serve your fellow student. They want to do more, and they take that home.
We're only in year 3, and although we see the growth, you look for more.
Of education is about agency. What kind of world do we want for young people? And that's ultimately what I look at it, is for them. In the immediate, I want them to know that they're incredibly loved. And I want them to know that every single day, to know how loved they are and how capable they are.
So I hope this has been helpful so far, but I'm sure there's a lot of burning questions out there and things people want to talk about. So Arshia, give it to you for a couple minutes here.
Absolutely. This was amazing. You just have to take a look at the chat box to see just the amount of wonderful reactions this has elicited. Friends, we are now going to be moving into a more cozy discussion space where each of you will actually have a breakout room with one of the student leaders to be talking more and asking a little bit more about these spaces. So as we do that, I actually have a question for you. You remember the leaps that we actually discussed, the leaps around connection and community, the leaps around rigorous learning. And in fact, Amina, if you want to put up that deck, that would be great. I'd love for you to maybe look back at that and see, okay, which of the leads did you see in action in the conversations, in all the beautiful videos, a really deep insight into the school? Which of these did you see in action? Some of, if you want to put it down in the chat box, go for it. If you want to unmute and share what you saw and why, I'd love to hear a couple of voices as well. All right, Raji ma'am says connection and community. Absolutely. Raji ma'am, would you also like to maybe share a few examples of where you saw it?
Hello everyone. Hi ma'am. Seeing you after a long time.
Yes.
Ma'am, actually that prayer hall, no, which I was just thinking how I can adopt when I was seeing the videos. I was thinking on how I can adopt into my school. The community song. Usually we have a typical way of telling prayers, national anthem, and we end it. And we have few assembly activities. I could see a different thing there. They're like it's not a very formal thing. Everybody is starting their day with full of joy,
Yeah.
sharing their time with each other, singing song, and shout outs for the people who their peers.
Yeah.
Starting a day with that energy is actually a different thing. So I am rethinking now how to reframe my assembly time.
Wonderful.
Already the thought is going on in my mind now.
Amazing.
I'll get back to you with the exact plan in another 1 week.
That's great, Raji ma'am. It's all
Yeah.
to hear from you. Sanjita says, addressing student challenges in group counseling, teachers believe that without that relegation, education does not start. That highlights whole child focus and connection. Isn't that beautiful? I also believe that it kind of takes a child out of isolation, and whole child focus. Very well put, Sanjita. Rohit, go for it.
Yeah, actually, I love this shared responsibility, which the whole webinar was based on. Like, whatever they were sharing, everything was like quite connected with each other, and from the senior group to the junior group. So I felt the very beautiful thing over here is that how each one of is like very responsible, even though not only the current students, but they are taking in alumni as well. Those who are continuously guiding them, inspiring them, and motivating them. It was really great to have this. I too going to bring it into my school culture. Maybe by tomorrow itself, I'll try implementing some of the insights which I have taken from here. Thank you.
Lovely. Perhaps we can use the breakout room to gain some more context into some of these, which is what we're going to go into. Before we do that, as Amina prepares the breakout rooms, I'd love to read out a couple of other responses we've got. Ikra's beautifully written agency, being in the foods, defending yourself in water, achieving that black uniform. Absolutely. Um, Jaffer says powerful space where students from vulnerable communities can speak out about what's stopping them. Absolutely, the counseling space as well. And then the path of growth can be discussed. Jeshi talks about life skills focused, and the learners are robust in their work. I really did feel that the idea of passive compliance really didn't exist in all these examples. It was such a strong display of actively taking ownership of your own learning, your own inner development as well. All right. Amina, are we ready?
Yes.
Because now, as we break out into rooms, friends, you're all going to be in smaller groups, each with one of the student leaders that you spoke to, and you have a chance to just learn a little bit about their experience and ask them a few questions. Some questions that I would have asked if I'm in those rooms, and that I am going to, is perhaps, ways in which they learn new ideas, or what happens if they disagree, or what makes them feel like they're a good classmate or a good schoolmate. So really do dive deep into their experience and how it might lead to how they're developing and transforming themselves. With that, over to you, Amina.
All right, friends, if you have any issues joining the rooms, I will support with that. Off you go.
Amazing. Thank you so much, everybody, for bringing in your questions and for all the student leaders to share your responses to them. We had a great time hearing from Danilo. What I would love to do is, first of all, just thank the St. Benedict's team, Glenn, Danilo, Jibril, Diomar, uh, all of y'all. I think what I would love for y'all to also, everybody, maybe take the next minute or so to just put down your last thoughts, your final thoughts on what's really standing out to you from this visit. Jerome, sorry, I forgot to say your name, but for what's really standing out to you from this visit, what are you taking back for yourself as well? um yeah, just let's put it down, and any feeling of gratitude as well that's coming up for you. Yeah, as you're putting that down in the chat box, any last words for this particular call, Glenn, that you'd like to share as we close out?
From my standpoint, I just again like to thank all of you for joining us. I do always hope that you have considered this to be a worthwhile time. I will let you know that we have been here at St. Benedict's. We have been extremely happy to have met the folks from the Circle, India, and are looking forward to being able to work with you all more in one way or another. We are also hoping very much to be able to have a trip over to at least to Mumbai sometime in the near future. So one thing I will share, and I know Amina and Arshia, I believe, are aware of this. We mentioned in the experiential learning part that student exchanges are part of what we do. And one of our beliefs here is that it is extremely important for people to understand the reality of others, meaning that for us in Newark, New Jersey, to be able to understand the reality of what's happening for people in India is critical. And the best way to do that is to connect students and adults, but especially to connect students as much as possible. So we have a relationship with a school in the Netherlands. I actually just heard yesterday that a school we've worked with in Israel for many years is now interested in renewing our relationship, whereby we send a group of students there for a week. They send a group of students here for a week. We learn from one another, and the students get to understand what it is to be in others' spaces. So in addition to whatever work we can do to help implement some of these ideas into your schools, we would also love to speak to people about the ability to connect students, whether it's in real time, in real space, or virtually, because I think it could be really powerful. So I share that, but again, thank you to Arshia and Mina for setting this up and for having us, and I look forward to hearing from more of you in the near future.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Amina?
Thank you so much, Glenn. Thank you so much for putting this together and for showing up, and to all the learners who joined us as well. For everyone else, here there's a small poll coming up on your screen. If you can fill it on your way out, that'd be very helpful. We meet again on 3rd December for our next virtual visit, which is with Brooklyn's team. It's a space we're very excited about, and I think it will tie in greatly to all that we've heard about St. Benedict's today, and then go ahead and explore a different space. Thank you so much again, Glenn, Jerome, Danilo, and Jibril. Getting one, my bad. But thank you so much, and I'm just gonna pull up the poll. All right.
नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर ऐ दिल तो बता रे हाय दिल को हजारों बांधे थे धागे पर पाजी निकला ये हमसे आगे